People still think of meme coins as gambling compared to holding traditional altcoins. But these boring blue chip altcoins this cycle, they'll keep you poor. That's the reality. In this cycle, even though meme coin trading is high risk, it's very similar to how altcoins traded in the previous cycle. So you kind of have to stick with the times here. And I'll go through in this video some of the better strategies when it comes to meme coin trading, which are very similar to how you might trade altcoins traditionally. So let's jump straight in. Now, if you saw my recent meme coin videos, you'll see me mention several coins that I was interested in, including where I thought they might pull back to approximately, and which ones I thought would do well. And I gave you my reasons why. And we're going to cover some of them again in this video so you can see how it works when it comes to analyzing these coins. But these coins, when we look through them, we're not messing about with any new coins here in this particular strategy. So this is not trench trading at all. This is literally like altcoin trading. You're picking coins that are at least a month old. Remember, there were many altcoins that were launched in this cycle. Some are only a few months old themselves. So you're picking one at least a month old with good volume, and you're doing technical analysis to have a look at the chart. Is the chart bullish? For example, this one I discussed in my last video where I thought the chart looked quite bullish. It was beginning to break out. There were some very healthy pullbacks and it's just kept going. So if I remove these drawings here, you can see this is what a bullish chart looks like. Doesn't matter if you're new to technical analysis. It's obvious when you get a stair pattern going up. Yes, it looks messy, but when you smooth it out on, say, a 4-hourly or something like that, you can see a little bit more clearly. And there's pullbacks along the way, and you can see with percentages, I marked it off. So if you click here on the left, go to price range, and you go to any swing high, swing low, you can see along the way, usually 40% corrections, sometimes more. But because the corrections are so shallow, they're so small, that's usually the sign of an even more bullish coin. Now, where will a coin like this top? This is anybody's guess, and it's not your job to determine that at all. That's not your job. Your job is to buy on a pullback, risk reward trade, buy the trade, and then run with it. Take profits along the way as you want to, but run with the coin. And sometimes there are signs, especially when things are looking a bit toppy. Generally in altcoins or in Solana, there's a massive pullback. You get divergence here. There are many other signs as well. You can use candlestick patterns. You can do break of trend lines, break of support. So several different ones. And if you're interested, I'll discuss that in another video. Just comment below and I'll go through the 7 or 8 things that you can actually look for. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button if you've been enjoying the content. Let's go to the next one. This is one I discussed, and one I said was looking bullish and could potentially break out. It did, but not for long. It topped at around 25 million, which remember is psychological resistance. So if you're taking profits, you always take profits along the way underneath these levels. So just underneath 75 million, you'll take profits at 73. Under 25 million, you'll take profits at 23 or 24. That's how it works on the way up. Now the problem is, as this sold off, it didn't hold that bullish structure. It's broken trend line support. You're getting lower highs in place. It's broken this recent support here at 13 million and is right back almost below 10. So I would say this is over. I don't mean over forever, and I don't mean it can't have another pump. Just for now, in terms of trading, in terms of risk reward, it doesn't make sense from a trader's perspective. The volumes are still good, but as you can see, it's mostly been selling volume. Now, what we could say is, again, just removing the drawings, if it's doing some massive major pullback and then starts to go, then fine. But again, you don't have to buy now. You can wait around and see if it starts to develop a bullish structure. Like this structure, you can see if this happens here again. If it doesn't, just leave it. So what do you do with ones like these? Just add them to your watch list. That's it. Just add them to your watch list. I mostly trade using Bullx Neo and Axiom. Those are my 2 favorite trading platforms. And you have to use a proper trading platform when it comes to trading meme coins. There are so many benefits. For example, with this particular one, I have Useless here, the other coin we were talking about. So you could purchase here and then you can set limit orders. So when you're selling, you can set limit order and you can choose exactly the point at which you want to sell and how much you want to sell, 50%, 100%, etc. Same way, when you're buying, you can choose where to take profits using the same limit orders. So very easy to use. I'll link both below in the description area. Now notice earlier in the video I said stuff at least kind of over a month. Why is that? Well, the reason is we don't want to get into trench trading, and the reason is the problem there, you get a lot of coins that just sell off very, very quickly and die off completely. So basically the charts there, nearly all of them will do something, either a pump to 1 million, 500,000, 2 million, whatever, and then die off forever. After a period of time, there are a few things that you have confirmed, a few tick boxes. One is not some sort of outright scam. There's no coin that's going to be continuing to develop long-term holders, kind of social interest, increased attention online, more whales buying into it, etc., etc. It's just not going to happen if it's obviously a scam coin and if it's not had enough time. So you've got the time element. It's not an obvious scam. You've got long-term holders coming into it. There's clearly some sort of narrative is based on that's decent, that's holding attention, increasing the price and interest further. So all of these are ticks that this is a more established coin. This is why I compare these more established coins to altcoins. And you might say, well, Sajad, like so loads of the meme coins, even the more established ones, they've had massive sell-offs. This is a chart of Sandbox, which is an established altcoin. Look at the chart. What we're talking about, massive sell-offs. They've all had massive sell-offs. All of the altcoins are like this. There's only a few that maintain bullish structures, but my point is there's only a few meme coins that you're choosing from. Same as altcoins. And these ones you're using as a swing trade, so you're not holding forever. You're holding for days, maybe weeks, maybe even a little bit longer if you get a little bit more momentum for this kind of final stage of the cycle. But the thing is, the returns vastly outweigh the risk when you're buying these more established coins, because you are taking a 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50% risk. But if you can get a 2x, 3x, 5x, these are just realistic multiples. You're never ever going to get that on altcoins right now. The best case scenario, you may get a 2x on some of these altcoins. It's very, very difficult to get 5x or more, and especially not in a period of days, where a lot of you watching will have limited budgets when it comes to trading any kind of cryptocurrency. And I remind you, as I said at the beginning of this video, it's been a very, very tough cycle, really tough. So you really want to go where the value is, where there's EV, where it actually makes mathematical sense. And some of these coins are where it's at. So let's quickly go through a few more. This is another one, LaunchCoin. Now this one, same story. So it's more established coin. It's one of the kind of premium coins on this particular protocol. But there's an issue here. There's an issue where we have got kind of higher lows, but it's really stalled over the past kind of couple of weeks, and it isn't developing the same bullish structures we were seeing on some of the other coins. So this might be one, again, have on the watch list, maybe buy a little bit and just hold for maybe smaller gains. But I don't see this suddenly shooting off to 1 billion. It wouldn't make sense. I don't think it's a good meme personally. However, I can't ignore the volume that's pouring into this every single day, and obviously the protocol creators may be supporting this in the background. You don't know. Or they might be just maintaining the volume so it goes sideways. We saw this on other platforms, like I think it was Sundog or something on TRX or one of the other blockchains. We saw something similar. That might be happening here. So I personally would ignore this. Next one called Hosico. And this one, again, a newer one. So let's go into a 4 hourly. You can see it was only launched 28th April. So at least a month. Clearly it's, not some sort of outright scam. But the other thing about this is because it's slightly newer, you give the slightly newer ones a little bit more preference, more possibility that it could do something. And the difference with coins like this is we're nearly getting to areas where it's blue sky. What do I mean by blue sky? If it breaks out into all-time highs, there's not really any previous resistance level that it needs to deal with. When we talk about things like peanut and stuff in a minute, it's a very, very different story. And this is what I want to see. When we talk about like market structure and stuff, this is Elliot wave. Nothing, I need to worry about. But if you really want to get into TA, I'd highly recommend you learn more about it. My comprehensive course is below if you're interested. But basically with this, we've got the higher lows. But what we're seeing is maybe this is a 1-2 structure. And this is the beginnings of a third wave. And the way I count this, it suggests to me, just literally with naked eye, because once you have a bit more experience, you can usually approach it this way. I can see increasing volume going into third wave, so you can see the larger bars here at the bottom. That's a good sign. But it looks like it's got a few more waves to go. So if this is correct, if the way I'm looking at this is correct, this has got room to run. No guarantees. And also, why has it pulled off, just from here and had a 20-30% correction? Because we know healthy along the way to get corrections. But the way this structure is looking, it must be a shallow one. It can't be a deep one. So I easily know if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong and price gets into this territory here, 35 or below, that's it. The coin's probably done. Or we're talking about something else here, or some longer term correction going on. Maybe then it will run. Who knows? Who cares at that point? I don't really care. Right now, I'm interested in if this is going to go vertical. And the other thing is, it's going to pull back here because that was the previous high. So you'd want it to consolidate here sideways. It's actually very healthy if it goes sideways, not down, just sideways within a range. Then it's good probability. Again, it's all risk reward, no guarantees. The whole market tanks tomorrow and Bitcoin goes down 10%. Obviously, a lot of stuff will drop with it. But some of these better ones might trade slightly in a vacuum. And you'll be surprised even when there's market downturns. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for. Next one. And this one you have to be careful about because it is a little bit newer and it doesn't have as much momentum. Less volume. But again, I can't ignore bullish structure seems to be consolidating where the previous all-time highs were sideways. So, it's something to keep an eye on your watch list. So this got Bao. Another one I'd been trading, startup. This is, again, very, very nice bullish structure. So it had that, initial mass kind of rally, die off, everyone thinks it's dead, usual story. But what's different is picking up a little bit of a bullish structure. Now, the volume isn't great. The volume is a lot lower, but you can't ignore the chart. Chart started slowly, and we're getting a bullish structure. And what happens is, this is normal. It slopes around like that when it goes into a third stronger wave. And usually that strongest impulse is not usually the end. You get the good thing is you have a kind of what I call insurance. When you get a fifth wave, whenever that does happen on a coin, for example, like this, it can be on lower volume. That's normal. It's kind of like final exhaustion volume. So even if things are dying off, it will still usually shoot up and you get a chance to exit, which is what you need, obviously, if you want to hold profits. And that takes me back to an important point I've mentioned many, many times on my channel. Look, you're not going to perfectly time everything, but just please take profits. Don't just sit there and have some of these top and then literally sell off like crazy amounts and lose all your profits. Put limit orders if you need to protect yourself. If you're busy, you have a 9 to 5, whatever. Do that. But just please take some profits. Next one, Swarm. And I was lucky to get into this. I saw the structure forming over the last couple of days. And it's been a really good trade for me. But this is actually an older one that I had on my watch list anyway from many, many months ago. So this has had a really rough time. And you can see the chart is horrible. Like, it's a really horrible chart. Like, it had a brilliant run first, all the way up to, where was it? Like 500 million or something crazy. Massive sell-off. Completely dead coin. And what I'm doing is I'm trading basically a dead coin breakout, if you want to call it that. Volume. I saw volume coming back into it, and I just jumped on board. Who knows where it's going to run? This might be it. It might be just a little correction like this move, and it'll completely sell off. Doesn't matter to me. I can easily book some profits here, move on to another coin. However, if this is the beginning of something, some sort of revival play for whatever reason, like I said, I don't actually care what these coins do, who's invested in them, which calls are talking about. It does not matter. I'm doing everything based on chart, volume, because everything kind of shows up on there anyway. And what I'm looking for is, you can see this descending line. If there's some crazy breakout here, the ROI in terms of multiples could be significant. So it's well worth the risk, even though it's looking like a deadish coin. Because of all these things that I've actually mentioned here. So always keep an eye out on some of the older ones too. They could be doing something, but if you get in before or during the fact that they're doing something, that's better than, oh, it goes like this and then, it's at 80 million and everybody on X is talking about them. That's not what you want, because you've got much higher risk buying here than you have here, because this could all just be dead cat bounce, back to resistance here, and then it just dies again. And that's the end of the cycle. Peanut. Now, I've lost favor on some of these other well-known ones because they've just really, they've had the breakouts, but they've been looking very weak from this 24th of June bounce. So this one I'm just kind of keeping on the watch list here, but I'm keeping an eye on it. It has potential, but it really has had a very, very long time to do something, and it's getting, believe it or not, November runners are getting kind of old when it comes to meme coins and interest and stuff. And, I'd be more inclined to ignore it and focus on some of the others I've mentioned. Actually, volume's still okay, nothing like the volume back here in the early days when it was doing, I don't know, I think it was 100 million a day or something like that. Same for Mudeng, kind of lost a bit of favor, but I still think it's looking a little bit better maybe than Peanut. Had a nice breakout here, nice impulsive, some volume coming in, loads of volume, like 12 million, 24 hours. So I think out of the older coins, this is a little bit better. Maybe because it's just a better meme overall. Who knows? But if this is indeed an impulse, and if you saw my recent videos, you'll see I talked about pullbacks on all of these. So pullbacks likely between 618 and 786. That's the golden kind of area here. Well, it's done that now. So either it runs now or we forget about this coin and move on. Goes the same as Peanut. Kind of lost interest in it, but again, it's bounced in the 786. I can't ignore that. I can't ignore now that it's made a few higher lows. So either, if this is a real structure, this is what's supposed to happen basically. If this is a 1-2 and then this is the beginning of a third wave, it's gonna do a little bit more of this, consolidate a bit, and then just go like that, and then consolidate and then move on with its life. That's what's supposed to happen. So it's very easy for me to know that it's not going to work out. So if I don't see some of that impulsivity following through with increase in volume, these bars might get a little bit bigger. So kind of like you saw here, so increasing. If I don't see that and I see it fall back into 90 million or whatever, that's it. It's done. Move on. Now it's possible it'll make another slightly lower low and then run. Who knows? But we could just watch it. We don't have to worry about that now. We can wait for a few weeks or wait till September and then see if it does anything. But again, these meme coins, they're worth the multiples. Because even this, just to get back to its recent May high, which is going from 100 to 255, 150%. So if you put, let's say, I don't know, 5k into that, it's going to be worth 12.5k if it just gets back to this high, which is not a good high anyway. It's nothing compared to where all-time highs were, which were 1.3 billion. So remember, it's all a game of numbers that you're playing here when it comes to meme coin trading or any type of trading. So all of these you can find, and you can use the X screener and go through them and see on every single day. You can check every day, add these to your watch list, and just see, look, where's the volume going? Which of these older coins are beginning to look like they have a little bit of potential? I don't really do a lot of holder analysis now or other kind of sentiment analysis because it doesn't make sense. Honestly, the charts are your friend when it comes to this kind of stuff. And if you want more regular updates like this on some of the major meme coins, let me know, especially if there's any particular meme coins you want me to cover. More than happy to do that. Just comment below. Thanks for listening.